While high prices are influencing input and operation decisions, they're also having ripple effects in the farmland market. Howard Halderman with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers joins us now for an update. So appreciate your time, Howard. So much I want to pick your brain on. So many things happening within ag, and they all trickle down into our farmland markets, of course. So to start, what are the three major factors influencing the land market the remainder of 2026?
Well, Liza, it's a great question, and I really think it boils down to these three major factors. One is going to be, where do farm incomes end up? A lot of that is, of course, determined by yield, and based upon planting progress and the start the crop has, generally speaking, we're in a really good spot in terms of yield this year. So then it's really the yield times price. And commodity prices have improved over the last few months due to a variety of reasons, but we have a chance to see them be at profitable levels. Of course, farm income is a net number, and the challenge there is the higher prices due to fertilizer and fuel, which are really a direct result of the war over in Iran. So I think that farm income question is the biggest one, and that's what remains to be seen depending on some of the factors that are out there globally, I would say.
I mean, and a lot to think about, so many factors there, and legislation that's kind of morphing this as well. Obviously, the potential for year-round E15 is a big focus for the farm sector right now. So I'm curious, what impact could that have on the market?
So year-round E15 could create another 2.4 billion bushels of consumed corn, which is a real positive for corn growers. That could increase the price maybe 15 cents a bushel. And when you're in tight economic times due to the inflation that we've seen in the cost input prices, I think that's going to be a big benefit on the corn grower side of the equation. Now, maybe there's a little offset and with some negative incomes on the soybean side. But all in all, year-round E15 is a positive for the United States farmer. Those of us, should say, in the Corn Belt that grow corn and soybeans on a regular basis.
And many are waiting for Senate action when it comes to year-round E15. And the same can be said with our Farm Bill, kind of waiting for the Senate to take up that legislation as well. How critical is that to the industry?
Well, some would say, oh, the OBBB passed some key points, price support points that we needed. But passing the full Farm Bill is very needed. One is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Finalizing that's 80+% of your Farm Bill. But finalizing the commodity titles, finalizing conservation funding, those programs that have existed for years, those are some critical aspects that I think still need to be completed by, hopefully, in this case, the Senate. And that's really where we're waiting on the legislation to move at this time.
Yes, definitely a wait and see process we've been following, of course. And something else we've also followed a lot on our program is the reorganization of the USDA. So as we kind of wrap up, I'm curious of what impact you'll think that will have on agriculture.
Well, I think it could have some positive impacts. You could see a lot of employees move to the rural areas closer to where the crops are grown, and the decisions they make have an impact on growers throughout that region, be it Indianapolis or Salt Lake City or Raleigh, Durham. You have a big savings in cost of living. And I think that's one of the things they're looking at is 2,600 of the 4,600 employees move to these regions where there's a lower cost of living versus Washington, D.C. And that could be a positive to the overall federal budget.
Howard, I threw a lot of topics your way, and you're doing a great job of tackling them. And it just proves how much is on top of mind for our farmers and people within the ag industry. So any final advice for producers currently navigating that farmland market?
I think you stay the course. That's what agriculture has always done. We're a long-term investment, and these hiccups like the war in Iran happen, and hopefully it doesn't hit you with some higher fuel or fertilizer prices. Maybe you had your nitrogen book last fall. I really think we're looking at a good growing season and some positive outcomes. On the whole, farmland values are very steady, and I think they'll remain steady the rest of the year if we can have at least break even or slightly above overall farm incomes.
Really great perspective, Howard. Thank you so much for joining us and breaking down all the different news headlines and things going on within that farmland market. We appreciate it. That's Howard Halderman with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers.